Well, good morning, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Philip Cantrell. I'm the founder of Benchmark Realty in Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, and now Alabama. Happy to have you on our webinar today, Fridays with Philip. We do this once a month. I am recording this on actually August 22nd, so a week before the viewing event on the 29th. And I'm also doing it a little bit differently today. I'm doing it from home. So I have different background, different attire. I'm sitting down instead of standing up. Instead of having my two monitors side by side, I have one up here and one down here. So if you see my eyes drifting around, it's not because I don't like you and I've lost interest. It's because I have to watch certain things in certain areas here. So I hope that makes sense, and I'm glad you joined us today. We appreciate it very much. I've tried to skinny this one down quite a bit to focus more on the educational content as opposed to the numbers. We have a lot of fluidity in our business right now, and want to try to focus as much on training and education as we can going forward. So we'll set that up. So let's get started. First of all, you are watching this on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. As you can see, we have now over 1,000 subscribers to our channel and over 200 videos there. This will be number 204, I guess, when we get it done. But each of the last couple of videos for Fridays with Philip have been viewed, gosh, over 1,000 times. So we're very appreciative of that. And I think that's a testimony to the content that we're bringing to our benchmark affiliates. We work really hard on it. And all that stuff is archived there too. So you can go back and you can look at it. You can look below each video and it's archived on the section of education content. You can see there on the left. You can just kind of click on that link and it will take you right to that portion. So you don't have to watch all the advertising if you don't want to. That's totally up to you. But our benchmark channel is at Benchmark Realty LLC on YouTube. Be sure and subscribe and like the videos. That helps us know who we're reaching and who we're not. All right, shout out to begin with to our sister company, Momentum Title. As you know, they provide a lot of the free tools that you get here at Benchmark. They are attorney owned. We have 6 attorneys affiliated with Momentum Title, and we can pretty much handle anything that you need on title work or legal stuff. The benefit is there's no closing fee on your first closing. Active military or personal residence, no closing fee ever. So you can get started with zero cost. The point I want to make there is that's the closing fee, not the title insurance. Title insurance rates are set by the state of Tennessee, and we don't have any choice. They have to charge what they have to charge. But the fee that the attorney, that the title company charges to close is waived on those 3 events: your first closing, active military, personal residence, and for 50% off for veterans and first responders, and also on your personal investments. That is forever. So use that as you want to. And if they get both sides of the closing, there's only one closing fee. So great benefits there. They do provide the revenue from this company, as I said, does provide a lot of the free tools that we have here, not the least of which is Real Scout. Real Scout, guys, if you're not using it, I'm sorry, but you're losing out. You are losing out. This is the way to cultivate your sphere. This is the way to cultivate your clients and turn your customers into clients because they're up to date. Think of it as a Zillow search with AI involved. It figures out what your client is clicking on, what your prospect is clicking on when it utilizes the system, and then creates a dynamic search as you go through. It also has an exclusives feature, which we have actually had, despite all the noise you hear in the news about the exclusive conversations of keeping listings off MLS. We've had that feature available within the parameters of our MLS rules for 2 years now. So this is not new. We have it. If somebody wants it, there it is right there. And it's provided for you by our title company. And one of the other features that we have in our training and the tools to help you in your business is Client Bay. Client Bay is a CRM. Client Bay is a social media. Client Bay has lots of cool stuff through Social Bay that you want to take advantage of. And we have a tremendous amount of training there. This is not you check the dash, you have the training every month. And of course, we can do one-on-one with you if you want to. There's all kinds of opportunities to learn how to use this and learn how to use this effectively. But like any tool, you must lean into it to have the benefit of it. So I encourage you to get involved in the training and figure out what it is. It's not free, but it sure is cheap. We have a reduced price of just $35 a month here. And that is because we receive revenue from the title company to help offset these costs. Normally, that would be $115 a month savings for you. So I think it's 175. What does that work out to? 170 bucks a month. hundreds, I don't know what, I can't do math on the fly. QR code, subscribe, get signed up, give it a try, see how it works out. The next big event we have coming up is the Expo 2025. This is a really big deal, y'all. QR code there you see on the screen. This is October 6th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Franklin Marriott in Cool Springs, the same place it was last year. Typically, we have a speaker. We have the, I don't want to call it a vendor show, but it's a partner show. Have a big room, a very large room full of people that want to do business with you. And they are not all home inspectors. There are some home inspectors there undeniably, but there are also a lot of other service providers that will help you in your business if you will lean in and participate and come and find out, come and learn from them. You might pick up some really beneficial stuff. We hear good reports about this, and unanimously, the people who participate on the provider side tell us repeatedly that is the best show in town, bar none. And we even have an opportunity to get a t-shirt here. It's not free. I almost said free t-shirt. It's not free. But if you do that QR code, then you will have opportunity to not only register, there is a fee associated with the registration because this hotel costs us north of $45,000 to hold this event. So we have to offset it and pay for it somehow. And then the t-shirt is available there if you want it as well. The speaker is a friend of mine, Nick Bailey. Most of you don't know him. But if you attended this event last year, you heard Jared James, who was a very dynamic, knowledgeable speaker. And Nick is of the same genre. He is the former head CEO of Remax International, and then Century 21, started out at Zillow. So been around the industry a long time, very dynamic individual, very knowledgeable person. And you can see the event schedule there on the right. We are going to feed you lunch. So, we're Baptists and we got to eat every time we get together. So there's that. I put this map up here to show you all the spots and places. What I didn't do was add a dot or a star to Paducah. Found out yesterday that we now have affiliates. We have a satellite office in Paducah, Kentucky. So that's pretty cool. We now have 3 offices in Kentucky. And then we have, I don't know, what's that, 10 other offices, and we're growing, growing, growing. We have do not have a physical location in Alabama, but we do have about a dozen agents in Alabama, maybe up to 15 by now. And we also have several agents that operate out of the Chattanooga area. They may not have an office down there yet, but there are lots of agents that work there. So if you have need in those areas, reach out to Bo Zivak or reach out to your principal broker, and we can connect you to an agent in those areas without going through the referral program if you don't want to. Just a thought that we're continuing to grow. And if you know somebody that you think would be a good fit for us, have them click on this website, discoverbenchmark.com, or you can have them reach out to your principal broker or Bo Zivak, either one. And once they join us, if we decide that we're compatible and we love each other and all that good stuff, and they want to join us, then you'll receive a check for $300 in your bank account 60 days after they have joined us. So it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, but it's just a gratitude, a kiss to say thank you for your spreading the word, for spreading the word. Our website, we keep talking about it. We continue to improve the website. It's growing, growing, growing. And the main reason we're doing this is we are now investing in social media advertising for the listings and for the website. We have invested tens of thousands of dollars this year, and we have 900 plus leads. Your listing, your lead, it's legit when you get an email from no-reply@unionstmedia.com. That is a lead. You need to respond to it in 15 minutes. And actually, we're going to talk a lot about leads here in just a second. So you want to stay tuned and tune into that. As you know, we're part of United Real Estate, larger corporate. They're our holding company, and they are growing, growing, growing. We're continuing to grow. And because we're affiliated with them, we do have some features and benefits that you can't get anywhere else. Not the least of which is the United Referral Program. And we see this frequently on the closed group of anybody know an agent in blank, some geographic location where we don't have an office. I will usually chime in and say, click the tile on the dash, stay as involved as you want to stay, interview the agent before the referral is placed, whatever works for you. Just participate in that. It's a pretty straightforward process. You can, and there's details on there how to do it. Everybody is vetted. There are no rookies that get assigned your leads, and you have complete control on it. You can interview the agent before the lead is placed. And the best part is you don't have to go chasing your commission when it does close. I can't tell you how many times I've had to call a broker in Timbuktu because Bubba Joe forgot to pay your commission at closing, forgot to send a referral to you. And we don't make much on those. So it's a time suck. It's a drain. If you just use the system, then it automates things and makes it a lot easier. And if Bubba does forget to pay you, United is going to backstop that and they're going to pay you and then go seek compensation from the other agent that forgot. So, and we've talked about the four-stage commitment to your financial well-being. We've talked about this pretty much ad nauseum. 100% commission, financial literacy, learning how to handle money, learning how to get out of debt, set a budget, working with your family on putting everybody's head in the game on this thing. Also, healthcare insurance opportunity, and then through creative planning, wealth management to help you once you have achieved a certain level of success. All of that is provided to you or made accessible to you because we are affiliated with United Real Estate. Financial literacy doesn't cost you anything. The Smart Dollar product doesn't cost you anything. Clearwater benefits, you're going to pay them, but it's greatly reduced cost. And then, of course, the wealth management, you're going to pay them. But again, greatly reduced cost, and they pay attention to you. Smart Dollar is the one that we're most proud of because honestly, it was our brainchild. You can click on the tile on the dash and get signed up. Even if you just want to do an exploratory account, go ahead and get signed up. Just click the tile. It's going to ask you a company keyword, and the company keyword you see there on the screen is UREG. You'll need to make sure you use the email that we have on file in Bullseye, so that otherwise it won't recognize you and won't know who you are. So if you're trying to use some other email that you have that you like to use, if it's not the one we have, it's not going to accept your application into the system. But that one costs you nothing, so take advantage of it. And again, we have the four-step commitment, which goes beyond just getting a couple of bucks on each commission from you. We're concerned about you as a whole. And one of the things that we have just rolled out, and this doesn't have anything to do with United, it's a benchmark thing because we kept seeing deals blowing up.
Hi everybody. Here at Benchmark, as you know, we're always looking for ways to bring you more value so that you can increase your value proposition for a greater client experience. One of the trends we've noticed this year were the amount of transactions that we're having a hard time getting to the closing table due to insurance. We realized we need to find a source for you guys. A source that can help you become more educated, answer your questions, so you can be the main source for your transaction and have better control. After speaking to many benchmark agents who happen to refer their business in one direction, I went and talked to a guy, CJ HUTSENPILLER, owner of HUTSENPILLER Insurance. We are proud to announce our new partnership with HUTSENPILLER Insurance. I want to introduce you to CJ HUTSENPILLER.
Hey guys, I'm CJ. So great to partner with you guys. My team and I are based here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I have a team of 18 licensed and local insurance agents, and we are so excited to be able to be a resource for all the agents of Benchmark. So if you have any questions regarding insurance on any property, whether it be a home somebody's purchasing, a commercial property, anything like that, my team is here to guide and assist you with not only quotes, but also questions and answers to common problems. And we're also going to put out some education for you guys on things to look for to help make sure that your deals are getting to the closing table and insurance isn't causing you any problems whatsoever. As part of our partnership with Benchmark, each of you is going to receive a customized landing page that you can send to your clients, friends, and family that makes them getting insurance quotes just a few clicks of a mouse away. We are super excited about this partnership with Benchmark, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you real soon.
So we have cut a relationship with HUTSENPILLER Insurance. You can see the information there on the screen. You can click the QR code. We are getting, 65 or 70 submissions a week of people saying, hey, look at my insurance. And they do all kinds of insurance, not property and casualty insurance, homeowners insurance, your car, your boat, your jet ski, whatever. The big reason we did this was not for self gratification. The big reason we did this was because we were hearing repeatedly about deals blowing up a week before closing because of homeowners insurance. What you don't understand, folks, is that homeowners insurance has radically changed in the last 3 years. If you've been in this business a while, you may not realize how radically it has changed. And it's changed because of the claims, particularly in Florida. That impacts the entire insurance industry across the country. If the roof is a certain age now, they will not insurance. No insurance company will insure the property. And if you're headed toward closing and your um, lender requires insurance, guess what? You may find yourself the deal blown up. And we just saw deal after deal after deal getting killed because of lack of insurance, because the insurance wouldn't qualify for insurance, or they had to put a new roof on to qualify for insurance. That was a very frequent event. So check them out. You can text them, you can call them, you can email them. I have personally put my information in there and found them to be very responsive, and requested my auto insurance. And every 6 months, they're going to save me about $850 on my auto insurance. That's nothing to sneeze at, and they can handle it. So look that up and get involved with it. You received information from our compliance department, and we want to kind of shift gears now from the advertising portion to talking about how we're doing business at Benchmark. You received this email you see on the screen here from the compliance department. We just want to thank you for those who are complying with the new buyer rep agreement, the new listing agreement. As of June 1, we do not accept the TAR buyer rep representation agreement or the listing forms. We have created our own. They're available in transaction desk. They're available in .loop. They're available on the dash. They're available pretty much everywhere you need them. You need to use them. And we are still having some affiliates waking up from their long winter nap and submitting a buyer representation agreement on a TAR form, and they will get that form returned to them. The first time is a courtesy. As of August 1st, we're having so many violations. As of August 1st, we're rendering a non-compliance fee on the third occurrence. So the first time we'll let you go. The second time we're going to have some real conversation. The second time you're going to get a fine, and the third time we're going to have to discuss whether or not your license should be at Benchmark or whether or not you'd be better served going somewhere else. It's that serious, particularly with the buyer representation agreement. Having been one of the people who sat at the table with the attorneys during the class action lawsuits, I can tell you definitively that these lawsuits are not finished yet. In fact, we'll talk about that here in just a second, but round two is beginning to spin up again. These plaintiff attorneys are now beginning to engage in audits. And if they come through and they audit something that doesn't work according to the requirements of the settlement agreement, it's going to be a real problem for them. It's going to be a real problem for us. It's going to be a real problem for you if you haven't complied and followed our instructions through this process. So please follow our instructions. We've got the documents out there. We've talked about them ad nauseum. We've continued to discuss them, and you've gotten multiple emails beginning May the 2nd of 2025 that it's required on all transactions June the 1st. And then you got 3 emails talking about the sequence of events that happens if you don't comply. You got one in July 16th, July 22nd, and then July 30th. The third event, folks, is we have to consider whether or not you're suitable material for the high quality that we require here at Benchmark Realty. So please, this is important. Pay attention to it. The first one, Benchmark Realty exclusive buyer representation, must be fully executed before submitting an offer on behalf of a buyer. This is key. We're still getting some that are created after the contract was created. I hate to admit that on tape, but it's true, and I'm certain that it's happening in every other company in Tennessee. I don't really care about every other company in Tennessee. I care about this company, and I care about your career, and I care about your future in the industry. So we are making note, if an agreement is turned in after an offer is submitted, the agent will receive a one-time courtesy warning. The next time is a $100 non-compliance fee will apply for all additional violations, and then we have to talk about, if you're going to just not pay attention to our rules, we're going to have to talk about whether or not you're a good fit for us. As I said, we don't want to be harsh. We don't want to be bad people. We don't want to be mean. But we have to be professional here because the plaintiff attorneys are watching us. They are watching every large company in the United States. And so we just have to invoke a zero tolerance policy on this. Use the correct buyer rep agreement. Use it correctly, or go somewhere else. That's all we can tell you. We just have to insist on that. Moving on away from that, that's a little bit negative, and I'm sorry, but we just have to be confrontational about it at times. To be a realtor or not to be a realtor, RealTrax, our MLS, which is the one that covers pretty much all of Tennessee, has decided that we don't care if you're going to be a realtor or not. So at the end of this year, that was effective this past April, at the end of this year, you have a choice. Do you want to be a realtor or do you not want to be a realtor? There are some caveats that if you choose not to be a realtor, you cannot use the term realtor in your advertising, even though most of the population considers everybody with a license as a realtor, lowercase. It's just the way it is. You can't use that in your advertising, in your email address, on your website, anywhere. You may have noticed lately that NAR has hired some additional attorneys, and I think they have hired those attorneys, personal opinion, I think they've hired those attorneys to go after those who will continue to use the realtor brand after they decide to not be a realtor anymore, but we'll see how that works out. The downside is also you lose access to association benefits. There's a question of the code of ethics. Do we adhere to it or do we not? If we're not a realtor, that's supposedly a big deal. We can talk about all four of these here in just a second, but the big one is you lose access to TAR forms. So let's talk about each of those. Well, I can't say that you're a realtor. Well, I would advocate that the brand has already been commoditized. I mean, every consumer in America calls every licensee a realtor. Then there is no brand identity there. It is a common like Kleenex or like you say, give me a Band-Aid, and Band-Aid is a brand, Kleenex is a brand, but we don't say give me a facial tissue, we say give me a Kleenex. Realtors the same way. The brand has been commoditized. So that's kind of like closing the barn doors after the horse has already left the field. Association benefits, their education, awards programs, social events. I mean, it's up to you, whatever floats your boat. We have a tremendous amount of education here. I would advocate that our education is probably better than most local associations' education. And certainly there is a ton of education online through the two providers that you can find on our benchmark dash. Code of ethics, this is just not effective anymore. A licensee is either ethical or they're not. And we have in our independent contractors agreement that says that you sign when you join the benchmark that says you will operate ethically. You will do nothing that reflects negatively on the company or your clientele. And if you do, then you're gone. That's how it works. That to me is a code of ethics. We don't need a long list of social engineering to make us be better people. We either are or we're not. And the effective enforcement mechanism is just getting ridiculous. And I would point to Standard of Practice 10.5 as one that absolutely positively needs to be destroyed. It was way, way far for NAR to reach on passing that one years ago. And it needs to be eliminated. I would call for it to be eliminated immediately. Multiple brokers have lost, multiple licensees have lost their access to MLS because they posted something on social media before Standard of Practice 10.5 even went into place. And now the internet trolls have found it, dug it up, posted on it, got on them. And in 3 cases, people have lost access to their MLS because of it. It's just wrong. It's social engineering and it needs to stop. Okay, the big one here is losing access to TAR forms, to TAR forms. They are copyrighted forms, so if you're not a realtor, if you're not a member of an association, you cannot use those forms. If you have them on your computer and you choose to not be a realtor, you need to get rid of them and you need to use our forms because we are going to roll out a whole set of forms later on. You received an email about all this July the 11th of 2025. So you need to go look it up. It's probably in your spam folder. I think that we have it posted on the dash as well. If not, then let your admin know in your office and they can provide it with you. It contained a list of frequently asked questions and an answer to those. What are my options? Does the MLS access require association membership? What about forms? What about RealTracs? What about lockboxes? We answer all those questions in that document. It's a 4-page document, as you can see. Here's the question, here's the answer. Here's the question, here's the answer. And I go through each of these in detail to provide a roadmap for you so that you can make a decision on whether or not you want to remain a part of the realtor associations. To you, it's completely your decision. We don't care. As an organization, we will continue to maintain our membership because there's some of you that will insist on remaining realtors, and the way the rules are set up, you can't remain a realtor unless we are a realtor. So we'll keep that for those who want to. but there's a whole bunch of you out there that keep voicing to me that they don't want a piece of that anymore. So we provided this roadmap for you, and we'll continue to talk about it. You've seen the picture of the forms that with the forms library that we're working on. We're working on our own. We are copywriting them. We are happy to share them with other brokers if other brokers want to see them, want to talk about them, or utilize them. We're not trying to compete with anybody on this. We are trying to help the consumer. We are trying to help your business and trying to help all the noise get out of your head on being able to do that. So that's the purpose of this. We have greatly simplified the forms. For example, our purchase and sale agreement. I think the TNR form is right at 12 pages now. And then you have to do a wire fraud disclosure and a disclaimer and a confirmation of the agency and all that. We put all those in the document, and it's only 8 pages. So we're working under the paperwork simplification notice, if you will, and we're simplifying the documents. For another example is the property condition disclosure. And you may not realize this, but the Tennessee property condition disclosure is actually promulgated within state law. So Tennessee Code Annotated has said, this is what the Tennessee property condition disclosure should read. And TNR, in their multiple committees over the years, has added to it, added to it, added to it. In my opinion, in our opinion, in our attorney's opinion, every time you add to a promulgated form, you are creating liability for the users, for the people that are filling it out, and that would be you. Same thing with lead-based paint form. Lead-based paint form is an EPA form. Why do we have to keep modifying that on a local basis? I don't understand, but we're going back to the original versions. We're going back to the simple versions. You can see the confirmation of agency right there on your screen. You can see that dual agency has been taken off of it. And we just make sure that we have aligned these forms with the best practices that we have found over the years in doing. We will do nearly 10,000 transactions this year. We know what we are doing on forms. Okay, so those will be released early part of the fourth quarter, Q4, which will be, September, October, November, December. So it'll be early October. And we will begin training on those. Typically what we do with these Fridays with Phillip is that we take, because of the holidays, November and December, we take November and December off. This year, we're going to continue to have the Fridays with Phillip. During those time periods, we're going to be training on the forms, and we will have forms training in the office. We will have forms training online. We will have video archives. David Lee, our compliance broker, is going to walk through the forms when we have them. Right now, they are resident with our attorneys, and they're putting the final approval on all of them. And I think it's going to be a really good way to simplify your business, but it's totally up to you. And to be clear, if you are a non-realtor, you don't belong to an association, you cannot use the TAR forms. Once you do not renew your license in 26, you can use them all the way up to that. So the December 31, if you're not going to renew your association dues, then you need to stop using the TAR forms and you need to start using the benchmark forms. If you decide to remain a realtor, use either one. We'll accept either one, but we cannot accept a TAR form from a non-realtor because that is a copyright violation. And I know they are watching, and I know they're probably watching this video, and I know they're going to come after us, which is fine. We have 6 attorneys prepared. So I don't know what to tell you. Why are we so worried about this? Well, I don't know if you pay attention to the news, but additional lawsuits are already spinning up. So NAR liked to brag. They got out of the last 3 lawsuits. They got them dismissed and so on and so forth. Well, now they have been refiled, and they have been refiled on a higher level. Not to mention that, but the initial lawsuit, the 2019 Moeller class action lawsuit that preceded the Burnett case, and the Burnett case was the one that cost all the money. They're now cooking that one back up. So this is not done. And I've said it before, we are not done with these class action lawsuits, and the scrutiny for companies like ours who were abandoned by the associations, completely abandoned by the associations because our sales volume was above $2 billion. We had to go settle it, and you've heard me talk about it. In fact, I talk about it in the FAQ. That cost Benchmark personally nearly $900,000 charge to our balance sheet to settle that lawsuit. And you know how many 439s it takes to make $900,000. It's just not right. It's just not right. We were completely and absolutely abandoned by the associations, and we will not be in that position ever again. I can promise you that. So anyway, we're going to cover our bases. We're going to cross our T's. We're going to dot our I's. And if somebody wants to challenge that, then somebody's going to challenge it. It is what it is. But our total motivation is to protect you and your business. Period. End of conversation. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some company numbers. I just realized that as I'm getting ready to put this on the screen, I have a typo. Let's see. This is June. We talked about June. Now, this is not a typo. This is right. Okay, so 2024, our gross sales, we had closed 456 million, paid 10 million in commissions, 818 transactions, and a greater national market. At the same time, it did 2944. How did we do in 25? Well, we killed it. I mean, this is the number, what you see there in the red box is what we're concerned about. How did we do compared to the market? And as you can see, you're roughly, what is that, 7.3% ahead of the market? So congratulations. So that was June. It's old news. And the reason I'm throwing this in here is because we didn't do one of these in July because I had such a heavy travel schedule. So I'm catching up June and July. And then at the end of June, we had an inventory that was up 2.6% month over month, up 49.8% year over year, which is just absolutely outrageous, but it is what it is. And then our affiliate count continues to rise. At the end of June, you can see there we were at 1,805 affiliates across all networks. How did we do in July? July 2024, 432 million. 10 million in commissions, 894 transaction, and then 25, we killed it. We were up 17.5%, $507 million in gross sales. You guys absolutely slaughtered the market. You can see here that the market was up, but we're still looking at a 7% difference in us in the market. So congratulations. Home prices continued to rise. Our average sales price continued to rise just a little bit, but not much. That's a number that I put out there, but it's really not a number you should look at on a month-to-month basis because when you're too close, when you're month-to-month, it's really too close. You need to look at that number on a year-over-year basis. Inventory continued to rise again, slightly month over month, year over year up tremendously, 47.4%. And then our affiliate count again continued to rise, 1,818 affiliates. That was up 8%. So we are now, as I'm recording this on August 22nd, we are now, as I recall, up to about 1,829, 1,830, something like that. We'll know at the end of the month. It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of stuff going on the screen. I get that. So let's look at a picture and just draw a line there, which I'm pointing the arrow to. This is gross sales, 2022 to 2025. And we're comparing the trends. We're comparing the seasonality. We're comparing how it looked according to previous years. And you can see that now we are getting back up to the 2022 number, which was the first half of 2022 was still the surge, right? That's when he came off all that cheap money the government was creating and everybody was just in this frenzy. And so we're getting back to those numbers now, and we'll see how it goes the rest of the year, but it's looking pretty good so far. Gross commissions, you can see on the commissions there what they did. Again, the orange line is 2022, but I'm pointing to 2025, more normalization of gross commissions, but it still has begun to pop up there at the end in July. And then transaction count is now at or above 2022. So that's where we want to be. That is absolutely where we want to be. And of course, that orange line you see above that is 2022. So moving on, how do we do in year to date? The end of July 31, 24, we had closed $2.3 billion in real estate, paid $57 million in commissions, 4,947 transactions. And 2025, we have closed, we're up 17.1%. Gross commissions are up 10.4%. Transaction counts are up 13. And again, this is what we want to focus in on is how did you guys do compared to the marketplace? You can see that you are now 16.5% ahead of the market. So you beat the market by nearly 17%. That's a pretty good bragging point for your clients when you're doing a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, because it shows points to the direct quality, high quality of the benchmark affiliates who are producing agents and not just paper hangers. National market, home sales, existing home sales released yesterday. We're kind of bumping along the bottom still at about 4 million. It was up very slightly month over month and up very slightly year over year, but still we're at that 4 million mark. And I think when it's all said and done, this is annualized, seasonally adjusted, annualized. I think when it's all said and done, we're going to finish up around 4 million, which is about where we were last year. So it's kind of steady Eddie, bumping along the bottom. On a national scope, 10-year yield is 4.3. Mortgage rates are, 6.74 roughly, 6.75, 6.72, depending on what market you're in and where you're looking at it. Median list price, that's list price, not sales price, median list price, and then 107 days has increased by 1 day. That's the average days on market nationally, okay? And then price reductions continue to increase. 42% of listings now have had price reductions. We're going to talk more about that in just a second as well. So a lot of conversation about mortgage rates and what they're doing, and can the Fed drop the numbers, and we're going to talk all about that. What you're seeing, though, is the Federal Reserve hasn't changed their rate, but what you're seeing is a reduction in the spread between the 10-year yield and the 30-year mortgage, and that leads to stability. People can stand high rates, they can stand low rates. What they can't stand is volatility in rates. And what we have had over the last 2 years, 3 years is high volatility in rates, and it's drove everybody crazy. You can see what the yield has done right there on your screen. I'm gonna get my pointer out, highlighter out here, so you can, yeah, there we are. So there you go. You can see what I'm talking about right here. It's improved slightly, and it even is improved since I took this slide picture. Median price of existing home is now 422,400 nationally. That's up just slightly year over year. And then home prices are beginning to fall. This is something that I have been saying that we need to have, we need to have, we need to have. You can see on this chart what happened in 23. Home prices went crazy, and that's what caused all these numbers. 39 major metros have a number of the 50 most populous U.S. metros recording a month-over-month decline in home prices. It's the highest number since they've been tracking it all the way back to 2012. So that's something that we've been needing to have happen. We've been needing to see. Sellers are not going to recognize that. They're not going to be comfortable with that. They still want their big dollars, and they're going to get hurt. They are going to get hurt unless they recognize, unless you as an affiliate tune up your pricing mechanisms. We have offered multiple classes on pricing, and my strongest encouragement is to pay attention to that and do it correctly. This is a Redfin number on a national basis. You can see the blue line is a Case-Shiller Home Price Index month over month. You can see now that it is beginning to decline. And the volatility, this goes all the way back to 2012, the volatility is just tremendous. So prices have plateaued. This is year over year. This is month over month. Prices have begun to plateau. And that is, I hope, a precursor to prices beginning to fall slightly. I'm not advocating that we bottom out and everybody takes $1 million hit on their house, but what I am saying is that these prices were caused by cheap money pumped into the economy by the Federal Reserve. And that drives prices up. Anytime you have cheap money, prices go up. That's just how it works. It's not real value that's been created in the home market. And in fact, I would even advocate that really it's not prices that have risen. It's the purchasing power of the dollar that has been eviscerated by this run up in Federal Reserve pumping money into the economy. That's a whole different conversation. We could get into it, but emphasizing what I'm saying is that roughly 1 in 7 U.S. home prices purchases fell through. So not only are prices falling, but now deals are falling through, and a lot of you are experiencing this on a national basis. 15.3%. You can see it's the highest in history, and essentially it's because high prices, high mortgage rates, and it's a perfect storm, right? High prices, high mortgage rates, economic uncertainty. They're making buyers uneasy. And at the first glimmer of an issue with the deal, they're bailing. That seems to be the case in our world too. Now, our rates are down around here, our fallout rates, and we have not seen a run up like this, like the national numbers have. So we're running about 12% fallout rate, and that is pretty typical for us. Things change, conditions happen that make them do something different. But one of the things that we want to keep our eye on, and this is something the Federal Reserve is going to be heavily involved in, whether they want to be or not, is that now we have a huge swath of the population that is delaying or canceling all major purchases. I mean, homes, cars, jet skis. This is particularly going to impact the second home market. And it becomes even more critically important to understand pricing mechanisms on your listings and making sure that you're pricing them correctly, because nearly 30% of workers say they have either already made a purchase sooner than expected or will make a purchase earlier than originally planned due to their feelings about job security. So the labor reports are something that you really want to pay attention to. How they come in, whether they're positive, negative, what people are feeling, the uncertainty in the economy is really something that you want to pay attention to, because that impacts your ability to answer your clients' questions when you're sitting in a listing presentation on how to price the home. More than 35% of people are delaying major purchases across all categories of purchases. And it shows up in the recent price reductions in the homes. You can see now that the price reduction is higher than it was at this time in 2022, which was the highest volatility year. I mean, this gray line is 2022. You can see it going from here all the way up to here. We didn't have that kind of volatility in 25, but price cut percentage now is at 42%. So 42% of all listings are having to cut their prices. And simply put, it's because they started out too high. They started out too high. So I'm encouraging you to pay attention to that. Inventory is plateauing. This is 2025 that I'm showing you here. It's 23% more than last year still, but it is not 2019. And it has clearly plateaued. So I think what you're seeing is people are, rather than dropping the price, just pulling their home off the market. That's not going to help us. That is not going to help us. So this is all about communication on the front end. Again, I'm emphasizing this heavily. Communicate clearly. Stop being a fraidy cat of having the money conversation with your seller and help them understand. Sadly, there's always going to be another agent down the street who's not as educated as you are that will take an overpriced listing and then screw it up. That's the bane of our industry, and they are there. But if you present data like what I'm presenting to you here, and an educated, knowledgeable seller will understand what you're trying to do and will go along with your strategy. The pending home sales, 377, 582 homes in contract now. And you can see the number right here, 25. You can see that the seasonality is tracking just like 24, but it is running a little bit higher than 24. So that's why I said early on about my prediction on how we're going to finish up the year. We're going to finish up the year pretty much the same way. Same spot we were last year. Okay, that's the national stuff. The local stuff now. Median home price is actually, I had this wrong. I said 459, 758. It's actually 455, 758. Okay, so I've got a digit wrong there. Should say 459, 758 is the median home price. But again, you can see how home prices have plateaued here. You can see the volatility is slightly lower. This is, again, Nashville. It's up 0.05. It really hasn't changed month over month. Inventory plateaued, just like on the national basis. You can see how it's plateaued here. Again, because people are pulling their homes off the market, 10,863 single-family homes in the market in the greater Nashville MSA. And for definition, for those who are not tuned into these before, greater Nashville MSA is Davidson and the 7 surrounding counties. And that's what we call greater Nashville. So I know that you guys in Sumner and Wilson and whatever, Williamson, like to consider yourselves separate, but you're not. You're part of the greater Nashville MSA. And inventory in that area has plateaued. Our days on market has increased up in 1 month. We have increased days on market 7 days. It was at 21 last month, 22 last month. It's now 29 days on market. You can see we're not nearly as bad as Miami, Jacksonville, Austin, New Orleans, these other markets ahead of us. We're slightly better than Virginia Beach and San Diego, but that means that the entire market is slowing because all of these numbers that you see out here on the right are bigger than they were last month. So that the whole thing is slowing. And that's information your clients need to see. Here's another one your clients need to see. Share of listings with the price cut in July. What does Nashville say? 35.9%. It's not the 43% that we showed on the national basis, but it's still pretty high. If you happen to be doing business in Knoxville, you can see that it too, 33.6%, and Memphis, 29.7% of listings took a price cut in July. But thank goodness you live in the South, right? 46% of all real estate transactions happen in the Southern United States. So if you can't make it here, you can't make it anywhere. That's all I can tell you, right? Hope that data helps you. And the reason I put all that together, the reason I go into it in such detail is because I want you to be prepared when you are sitting across the table from your consumer, from your client, and have the right answers to give them when they ask the questions. That's why I do this. If you're a benchmarkian, this PDF of this presentation will be on the dash along with the recording. The recording will be on YouTube, but we'll have it on the dash as well along with it. Right underneath it will be a link to a PDF of all of this presentation to help you if you want to use these slides in your listing presentation or in your buyer presentation. By the way, we have great listing presentations and great buyer presentations there as well. You can just drop these slides into that. Anyway, moving on. When we got into this business, when everybody got into this business, they learned about a lot of cool stuff and they learned a lot of garbage, but they also learned a lot of things that, if you do this, then this will happen. If you do this, then this will happen. Some of those things that we learned don't work. Why do they not work? Well, because number one, the world has changed. The consumer has changed. And it's just a different place now. Like I've been doing this 25 years. It's just a different place now than it was 25 years ago. I mean, going back to the forms, for example, we had a 2-page form. It was a front to back 2-page form to buy a house. And now it's gotten out of control, but that's a whole different conversation. The world is different. Everything is different. So if you're sticking with old strategies in your head, in your mind, and the way you do business, you're probably going to struggle. You're probably going to struggle. If you read any of the stuff that I put out, my constant theme is modify, adapt, move forward, modify, adapt, move forward. That is my constant theme on pretty much everything I say and everything I teach. So that's what we're going to cover today. And the bottom line is that growth does not come from just doing more. A lot of affiliates, a lot of agents, they want to just outwork the ineptitude or outwork the inefficiency of what they've been doing. And it doesn't always work. Hard work is important, undeniably, but you can't outwork a bad plan, period. You have to look at things differently. And here's some hard truths, and I just talked about this. Many are stuck in patterns that no longer produce results. Hard work alone won't lead to success if you're using old methods. How many times have I seen on the closed group, that's what I was taught. That's how I was taught. Well, I learned it this way. I learned it that way. That is entrapment. That is not a path to success. Okay, I'm getting kind of emphatic here. I'm going to preaching here in just a second, probably. But what we have to do is look hard at what truly drives results and then eliminate what doesn't. Get rid of the crap. Get rid of the excess. Get rid of the stuff that's just not working anymore and admit it. The big thing is admitting when something doesn't work and saying, hey, I need a new plan. I just can't keep outworking a wrong plan. I need a new plan. I need a new design. I need to do something different because hard work is not going to overcome the bad plan. So let's look at some of those strategies that used to work and now they don't. Strategy number one that doesn't work is buying leads without a follow-up system. This should be one that is plain, as evident as the nose on everybody's face, but you would be surprised the number of leads that are purchased in this country every year, yet the number of sales that we have does not match anywhere close to it. Something like 187 million, maybe it's 280 million leads that Zillow sells to real estate agents every year, yet we only had 4 million home sales. Hello? That math doesn't work, right? So without a follow-up system, this is what happens. Leads themselves are not buyers. They're merely opportunities waiting to be nurtured. And if you don't nurture them, they don't turn into buyers. And leads only turn into buyers if you have a structured system to nurture, educate, and then convert them. It has to have a structure. It has to have a methodology to it. Money without method means you're just throwing money at hope. And you've heard me say it many times that hope is not a strategy. This is an appalling statistic that you see there at the bottom of the screen. 48% of leads are never responded to at all, and 71% are only followed up one time. I'm going to say that again because you guys who think leads are the save all for my business, here's the fact: 48% are never responded to at all, and 71% are only followed up with one time. Yes, statistically, we know that a buyer only buys the sixth time you contact them. Sixth time. The sixth time you contact them is when they buy. Yet 71% are only followed up with one time. You see the problem? What do you do instead? Build a solid lead conversion process. And there's 4 steps to it. I've laid them out right here on your screen for you. Number 1 is respond immediately. No conversation equals no conversion. The first agent to respond typically wins the business. You have 15 minutes or forget about it. You remember us talking about, showing you a slide a few minutes ago about our website and all the money we put into advertising your listings on our website? And yet many of those leads are not responded to, or I'll get to that tomorrow, or I'm busy, I'm on family time, whatever. It's fine. It's your decision on how to do this, but you have 15 minutes. So if you're going to put it off more than 15 minutes, you might as well save your dime and not bother calling them, because it's a dead lead and it falls in that 48% that never get responded to at all. Number 2, immediately set up automated listing alerts using Real Scout. Create personalized listing alerts that keep prospects engaged relative to the properties and keep you informed on their views. Real Scout is the only one that keeps you informed on what they're doing on the system. You can do a RealTrax search set. You can do a Zillow search set, but those systems are not going to keep you informed on what your client is doing on the system. Only Real Scout will do that. We provide that to Benchmarkians free of charge. Why are you not using it? It's a high adoption rate. I appreciate it, but it should be 100% adoption rate. Number 3, explain your process to the lead. Communicate with them. Share your off-market strategy. Use the wide reach of Benchmark Realty, Real Scout to highlight your ability and find properties before they hit the market. If you have a buyer that you have criteria, you put it in the Real Scout system, it will search for leads, for listings that match that criteria. Whether they're on MLS or whether they're exclusive listings, it will search that database and will bring it back to them. And then show your market expert. Show your market expert, okay? You have to be an expert in the market. You can't just be a wannabe taxi cab driver. You have to be an expert in the market using the data and similar situations of what I presented to you earlier. Demonstrate your expertise in loans, in pricing, neighborhood insights that others can't match. And if you don't have this insight, then you need to go get it. You need to go to lender school and quit saying, well, I'll just pass them off to the loan officer. No, you need to go to lender school. You need to go to title school. You need to go to marketing school. You need to educate yourself and become a professional and knowledgeable professional in all these areas. It's not about the lead. It's what happens after the lead arrives. And if anybody ever leaves Benchmark, I go back and I try to figure out why they left Benchmark to go to another agent brokerage. And 9.999 times out of 10, it's because they're going to give me leads. And they have plenty of leads here, but they fail to follow up on them. What they're really saying is that I don't have the self-discipline to run my business. And in that case, I'm saying, I'm sorry. When you get ready to be a real business person, come on back. We got it for you here at Benchmark. Strategy number 2, that doesn't work. Door knocking without purpose or value. And here's the problem. You just go around knocking on doors. It's annoying. It's invasive. You have generic scripts that don't tell anything to the consumer. You don't have any value to the consumer, and you're creating negative impressions. It's almost like after we had the hailstorm a few weeks ago, what happened to everybody who was in that district that got their roof damaged? I mean, within minutes, these roofers were out here knocking on the door. And even to this day, we're still getting door knocks. We got a new roof, dude. The sign's in the yard. We got a new roof. Why are you knocking on my door? Bring something of value instead of just random door knocking. So you got to have something of value in your hand to create a relationship. because that's the goal, right? Knock with an invitation instead of an ask. Instead of being annoying and saying, hey, I'm a realtor. If you ever decide to buy or sell your home, please call me. No, 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 no. Bring them something of value. VIP pre-open houses if you want. Welcome farewell parties, community events. Become a member of that community to show that you understand that you have value, that you respect their time, and that you're going to bring value to the table and not just give them a sales pitch. You know, everybody has that radar in their head that says, oh, he's going to pitch me on a sales pitch, sales pitch, sales pitch. No, 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 get away, get away, get away. Bring something of value, have something of value in your hand, and you can always get through the door and you'll never be perceived as an annoyance. And that's where you want to be perceived, as a relationship, as an ally, never as an annoyance. All right, strategy number 3 that doesn't work: posting generic holiday graphics. Happy Labor Day, happy 4th of July. Nobody cares. They're cookie cutters. They know you took 5 seconds to put it out there, and it has zero value, zero engagement. And I don't know if you realize this or not, but you know, our whole world, our whole life is driven by algorithms, driven by computers. All of social media is an algorithm. And when you don't have engagement, it punishes you. The algorithms punish you. So you might as well not be posting anything as to be posting something that's generic. I used to talk about this when I was doing listing education, talking about calendars. You know, those calendars with your business card above. I know some of you swear by them, but I can't tell you how many listings I've won with 3 of those sitting on the refrigerator from other agents. They're so generic that they have zero value, and people don't pay attention to them. And in case of a calendar, at least you've got a calendar on there. But the recipe cards, the happy Labor Day, the happy 4th of July, okay, just stop. It has zero engagement. You want content that engages. So what to do? Be local and be useful. Create a local event guide. You know, the top 5 places for Mother's Day in your local area. This is content that people want to save and then share with their friends. Seasonal activities. Again, they want to save it and share it. What's going on in the area. Insider knowledge, especially insider knowledge. People are always interested in what's happening at their neighbor's house down the street. So position yourself as a neighborhood expert is key, absolute key on anything that you're pushing out on social media. Helpful is memorable, generic is forgettable. And you don't want to be forgettable if that's where if you're trying to sell real estate. The more personal and helpful your content, the better it performs, plain and simple. So just keep that in mind. Every time you're putting something together, make it personal, make it helpful, make it something they'll retain. Become a go-to resource for all the area, all the events, all the happenings in your area. That's fundamental to growing your business. Strategy number 4 that doesn't work: sending plain just listed and just sold postcards. Now let me clarify this one, because a lot of you are going to say, well, I have that automated thing on the dash. Yes, we do, on Bullseye. And it works. But standard postcards that all look the same designs that blend in with junk mail, they have zero differentiation from competing agents. If you look like everyone else, why would they choose you? Because you're screaming to them, I'm no different than everybody else. People sort their mail in 2 piles. They have the A pile that gets read. They have the B pile down here in the garbage can. A pile, A pile, A pile, B pile, B pile, B pile. And if you have a generic postcard that doesn't grab value or offer value and grab attention, then you're going in the B pile, which is in the round file. And I could teach an entire course on this one, because direct mail is still effective. Don't mistake what I'm saying. It's still effective, but the most effective direct mail pieces are pattern interrupts. Something that says, aha, this is something I need to look at. This is something I need to read. This is something I need to pay attention to. If you're not interrupting their pattern of A, B, A, B, A, B, then you're losing and you're wasting your money. So what to do instead? Tell the personal story behind the sale. Okay. Problem solution format is how I helped this seller get 3 offers in 24 hours after 2 months with another agent. Curiosity triggers. Have you heard what your neighbor just did to sell their home for $30K above asking price? And then results. Highlight specific challenges you solved and tangible results you achieved for similar properties. Stop with the generic. Go with a specific. Give them a win. Tell them how you are different from everybody else. If you can't articulate that, then you need to have some one-on-one time with a person in the mirror and figure that out. What is your unique selling proposition or unique differentiation of why they should do business with you? And if you can't articulate why they should do business with you within 15 seconds, you've got a problem. You've got a problem. You need to focus on that. So that's the first solution you've got to solve. Make your mailings conversation pieces, not just a flyer destined for the recycling bin. People remember stories, not statistics, okay? Here's what I did. Here's how I did it. Here's what I can do for you. Give them something to identify and then follow up as well. See, postcards got to stand out. They got to spark curiosity. They got to create conversation, not just blend in with all the other junk mail you get. So your goal is to have them raise your hand and start a conversation, because you don't get conversion unless you have a conversation. Keep that one in mind. You don't get a conversion unless you have a conversation. You must be having conversations. Strategy number 5 that doesn't work: creating video content that isn't searchable. We talked about the Benchmark YouTube channel and how all the videos are searchable and how you can go through there. They're all driven by keywords, so they're showing up in Google searches as well, because we have articulated the searchability of the videos. If you're just doing a video that disappears into the digital void, that's content with no strategic keywords. If you don't know about strategic keywords, you need to go take a class on strategic keywords today. Need to have descriptive titles that help discover. You need to make sure you have the tags correct, the descriptions correct, and you need a plan for the viewers on how they will find you. If it's not searchable, it's not working regardless of production quality. You can buy a really fancy camera, but 99% of it can be done here on your cell phone with an edit. All you have to do is edit it properly. And most agents say they post videos without really considering how or even whether people will actually find them. They just put it out there because, well, I learned in a class at the association that I was supposed to do this. I hate video. I don't really know how to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And they put it out there and it's garbage. Here's a plan for you. Use the GRAB method: geographic content, relevant tips, attractions, and business. Specific examples on the geographic content: your area, a walking tour of downtown River District. I see some of our affiliates doing an excellent job of this on Instagram. Relevant tips: 5 repairs sellers should make before listing a home. Give them something of tangible value, okay? Best hidden gem restaurants, the attractions, the things in your area that locals love. And then how we help this family buy their dream home in a bidding war. So tangible evidence of value. Again, it's a recurring theme in all of this. It's tangible evidence of value. People see it, people read it, people understand it, but more importantly, the algorithms work because you made your content searchable with well-selected keywords and you had value content. You can't have value content without specificity in what you're delivering. If you're just saying, look at me, I'm walking through the flowers, I really sell real estate, I'd like to do business with you, it's garbage. It's not going to get you anywhere. Be specific, be searchable, use the GRAB framework. By the way, again, all of this is going to be available on Benchmark Dash. All of these slides are available on Benchmark Dash, and you can pull them down and start working on this stuff yourself pretty easily. Strategy number 6 that doesn't work: sending monthly newsletter that no one reads. Generic content copied from national sources. Can't tell you how many times I see people push something out that they just copied off of whatever website. Recipe of the month: gardening tips nobody asked for. Content that just screams this is mass email instead of here's a personal message for you. Bottom line on this stuff is low open rates, high unsubscribe rates. That means 0 engagement. And a lot of people saying, well, I just have a struggle with content. I know, I get it. I'm human too. If your newsletter is written by Chat GPT with 0 relevance, it's going to scream this is AI and not a human. It's a robot, not a human, and it's not going to work by itself. Now, clarify that. Chat GPT or others are great places to start, to get you started, but you must personalize that. It must sound like you. It must sound like you offering something of value to them. So I'm not saying don't do a newsletter. I'm saying if you're going to do a newsletter, do it the right way so that it's personalized, and do something like deal of the week emails, right? Tease the standout listing, include a simple CMA for those specific areas, specific people, encourage replies, give a call to action. Ask them to hit reply and let you know what they think about X, Y, or Z, whatever it is. But personalizing is all I can tell you the most important thing of all of what we're talking about here. Short, focused emails generate much more engagement than lengthy emails. I can testify to that because when I send you a short email, I get many responses. When I send you a long email, crickets. One property, one story, one clear call to action. That's what you want on your weekly emails. It's focus on getting a reply, focus on getting an engagement, focus on having them lean into you. That's what you want to do. So my encouragement on all this, that's the six ones that don't work. Many of you have probably found during this conversation that you're still using about 3 of those. That's about average. So my encouragement is stop waiting and start doing what works. In this market, if you're waiting for the phone to ring, you're already behind. You're already behind. The phone is not going to ring unless you offer something of value. The age of passive success is finished. And I have that in all caps, boldface. It is finished. You cannot just show up in this market, in this world, and expect to make 6 figures by hoping the phone will ring just because you got a license. The market has fundamentally changed, and those who adapt their approach will thrive while others struggle. Proactive agents win in any market condition, regardless of what's going on. I mean, the numbers, the proof's in the numbers. You need to set 2 weekly appointments, at least 2 new client appointments every week consistently. If you do that, your business will explode. The focus in on a 15% conversion rate. Track conversations, know exactly what percentage convert to clients. Track your numbers. 3 daily value actions. Focus on at least 3 value creating activities every single day. I used to offer something, a tip in class, and I would say, hey, do you guys want to double your income next year? Everybody would say, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Oh, I'm going to give you 1 tip that will double your income next year if you want to do it. At the end of every day, sit down with a pad and a piece of paper, a literal pencil and a piece of paper, and write down the 5 most important things for you to do the next day. Pencil, piece of paper, every day before you quit for the day, write down the 5 most important things for you to do in your business the following day. You know why that's important? Because number 1, you don't spend the first hour and a half figuring out what you're going to do the next day. You hit the ground running. You're organized. You have a mindset. And the whole thing begins to turn into a machine that then becomes automatic. And you work on those 2 appointments. You focus on your conversion rate, and you're focused on your 3 daily value actions. 3 things. Success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what works. So my question for you, it's your turn. You've got 2 questions to answer. What is one outdated tactic that you're going to stop doing today? Okay. And then question number 2 is, what is one new approach that you're going to start this week? And the old philosophy is the best time to change your approach was a year ago. The second best time is today. But you're not going to do that unless you make the conscious decision to do that. If you're saying, well, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. And then you don't write it down and you don't actually engage in it. You don't actually have a plan for it. It never happens. And 12 months from now, you'll be sitting in exactly the same spot you are now, probably feeling some frustration. You've got to make the commitment. Stop using outdated tactics and methods. Start using a new approach. If you don't have money, invest time. If you don't have time, invest money. But do it. The highest ROI will always come from investing in yourself. You can't expect an ROI without investing in yourself. So that's my advocacy. That's my advocacy for all of this. We help you. Everybody says, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. I need to learn that. I need to learn the other thing. But then we have a class and nobody shows up. Or we have 4 people show up. Or it's the same 4 people that show up every time, which is great, which is awesome. But there's a whole bunch of you out there that need this stuff. You need to show up. You need to lean into your career. You need to participate in your career because, honey, the easy days are over. The easy days are over. These attorneys and conditions and lawsuits, all they're doing is ratcheting up the requirement to be professional. And you're going to have to lean into your career and learn the practices to become professional, or you're not going to make it. And I don't want to see that happen because we offer a lot. And that QR code is a link to the dash, which has the training academy. I'm sorry, not training academy, the training schedule on it. Lean in to that training schedule. Lean into what we're offering. You don't really need don't need the QR code because you should already be going to the dash on a regular basis anyway and checking to see what goes on. Those of you who are, absolute kudos to you. You're doing well and you guys are knocking it out of the ballpark financially. So well done. The rest of you who are not doing it, who are only sort of doing it, or only doing it sometimes, need to develop a consistent plan. And that's my encouragement, is to get you to develop a consistent plan for raising the level of your performance in the chosen career where you are today. All right, so we're going to continue this theme next month. And by the way, this is an AI generated image, in case you're wondering. You've seen them. 70% of all images on social media now are done with AI. But AI by itself will not do it. You have to train it. You have to help it. You have to modify it. It took 4 versions to get to what you see on the screen now, to what I thought would effectively communicate what I was trying to say. So you can't just zip, done. You have to work with it. So what you see there is our title of the next education component is how to respond to buyer objections in a post-settlement world, because it has changed. It is different. I don't care what other brokers are telling you. It is different. Listen to us. Listen to our compliant. We will help you through this. We will help you win in a changing environment, and that will be broadcast September 26th, the end of next month. So we hope you join us on that. I think it's going to be well worth your time to do so. And I hope what we've done, what we've covered today helps you. I know I get kind of emotional about this stuff. I get kind of preachy about this stuff, and I don't mean to be. I'm really a nice guy, but I want you to succeed. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to win. And more importantly, I want your clients to win, because that's where the rubber hits the road. We have to continue to serve the consumer. So I hope that helps. Really do appreciate you guys being here today. Stay tuned for the next one.